Okay, let's just jump right in. We usually think political debate is all about ideas, right? Or the people, or the rules. But what if one of the biggest influences in the room is the room itself? What we're going to explore is how the simple design of a space can completely shape the way politics happens.
The room has already spoken. Just let that sink in for a second. Before anyone even says a word, before a single argument is made, the space itself has already laid down the ground rules. Imagine you're there. You walk into the UK's House of Commons. Before the speaker even calls for order, the room is telling you a story. It's setting the scene, it's drawing the battle lines, and it's prepping everybody for a very specific kind of fight.
Okay, so what exactly is this room saying? What are these unspoken instructions? Let's take a closer look and break down what's really going on here.
I mean, it's incredibly direct. You've got the government on one set of benches, the opposition right there in their faces, and your own team literally has your back. You don't need a rule book to figure this out, right? The layout screams at you who you're supposed to argue with. The whole setup is just built for a showdown.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Come on, it's just a room. People can act however they want. And you're not wrong, technically, but this idea that our environment quietly shapes how we act, that's not new at all. In fact, we kind of accept it everywhere else in our lives.
So maybe the real question isn't whether this is a real phenomenon. The real question is, why do we seem to forget this basic principle when we talk about one of our most important rooms?
And you see this everywhere. You walk into a courtroom, it feels formal, serious. It's designed for judgment. A classroom, well, it's often set up for people to learn together. And your favorite cafe is designed to make you relax and chat. So no, rooms don't force us to do anything, but they are absolutely nudging us in a certain direction.
And there's actually a term for this. It's called an environmental nudge. It's that subtle, constant pressure a space puts on you. And believe me, the House of Commons is an absolute masterclass in environmental nudges.
All right, so let's bring it all back to Parliament. If this place is an arena, what's the sport it's actually designed for?
You've probably heard this little tidbit before. It's a classic. The gap between the two front benches is said to be 2 sword lengths. It sounds like a joke, but it points to the room's DNA. Conflict, a physical contest, is literally built into its dimensions. It's part of its history. So a design like this naturally rewards certain behaviors. It's perfect for a big challenge, for scoring points, for landing that killer line that goes viral. What is it not designed for? Well, the messy, complicated, quiet work of actually finding common ground or solving a problem together. And look, let's be super clear. Argument is essential to democracy. Nobody is saying politicians shouldn't disagree. But the question is, what kind of argument does the space encourage? Is it scrutiny, to make an idea better? Or is it just a performance, to win? The room makes one of those a whole lot easier than the other.
And this stuff has a real long-term effect. You know, when you spend every single day in a place like this, what starts out as just symbolism, well, it eventually becomes something much deeper. It becomes habit. It becomes muscle memory. It's really like a training program. First, you're constantly facing your opponents. Then, speaking always means you're addressing the other side. Over time, that habit sinks in, and politics starts to feel like a simple, two-sided game. And the result? Nuance, complexity, compromise, they just can't find a place to sit, literally.
The layout also creates a very clear hierarchy. All the energy, all the attention is designed to focus on that central duel between the front benches. Everything else, a thoughtful point from a backbencher or any kind of cross-party work, it just feels secondary. It's happening on the sidelines of the main event.
Yeah, at its core, the architecture tells everyone what matters most, that head-to-head fight across the floor. It pushes every other kind of political work to the margins, not with rules, but just by design. The room's focal point becomes the entire system's focal point.
So what this all leads to is this really fundamental problem. It's a huge mismatch between what we say we want from our politics and the actual environment we've built for it.
I mean, just think about the contradiction. We ask our politicians to collaborate, to solve incredibly complex problems, but then we put them in an arena built for a duel. We ask for evidence-based policy, but we give them a stage that rewards a theatrical performance. It just doesn't add up.
And it's not like any one person decides to act this way. It's so much more subtle. It's all those little nudges, day after day. It's the room constantly whispering the same cues. Confrontation is normal, working together is weird. Over time, that whisper just becomes background noise. So really,
The key takeaway here is pretty simple. If we really want a different kind of politics, one that's maybe more collaborative, we have to ask ourselves a very basic question. Is the space itself helping us get there, or is it constantly, quietly pulling in the exact opposite direction?
And that leaves us with one last, big question to chew on. Imagine we changed nothing else, not the rules, not the people. What would happen if we just changed the room, so it stopped telling everyone, from the moment they walked in, exactly who their enemy is? It's a fascinating thought, isn't it?